Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kay Unscripted and I am your host Kay. I am back with another recap on Love is Blind season 8, episodes 5 and 6. Had I known that there wasn't much happening, I probably would have just joined episodes 5 and 6 with the review that I gave for episodes 3 and 4. But here we are, and before we get into it, just take a moment and go ahead and like and subscribe to my channel, like my videos and leave a comment. Let's talk about it. So we're on episode 5 and it is called Breaking Up is Hard to Do. We begin this episode with Lauren still talking to David and she's letting him lie to her face still. He eventually tells her that he's never told Molly that she's his number one, and he told Lauren that he sees himself proposing to her. David to me is a walking red flag, and he continues to tell her that he feels himself reverting to his old ways, but somehow that just flies over Lauren's head. And honestly, the love triangle between David, Lauren and Molly, I'm just ready for it to be over. Next we see Devin and Brittany, and she breaks up with him. And kudos to you, Brit, for realizing that this isn't your person. The fact that he got so turned off by her sharing something so personal with him, it pretty much told her all she needed to know. Did she judge you for your situation? No, she didn't. But I just feel like him hearing her story, he became very judgmental, and she's like, nah, I'm good. Then he's also on a date with Virginia, and he tells her immediately that he's officially done with Brittany and it's just the two of them. They share gifts with each other, but I don't know if this is going to work out for these two. Next we see Ben and Sarah. They get engaged, and I'm a little bit confused because Sarah, you were still having doubts about Ben and the human rights situation, and then you go ahead and accept an engagement from him. Anyway, next up we see David, and he's looking as red as a tomato and he's crying, and I'm just like, boy, cry me a river. Cry me a river. He's telling Molly, oh, I never said I would break up with Lauren. I don't know where you got that from. And she's like, yeah, okay. But anyway, he pretty much says that he has more of an emotional connection with Lauren, and he has to see that through. So she says, well, there you have it. You've made your decision. Now, Molly, you see, you've been running your mouth for days talking about how much this man was about to pick you and he's going to leave Lauren. And look at what he did. He chose her over you. And as if that man didn't just say he wants Lauren, she's like, oh well, so what happens with us now? Are you saying that you're choosing her? And he said, well, I thought I did. And she's telling him, well, own your decision. Girl, that man told you that he has more of an emotional connection with Lauren. He told you he doesn't want to be with you. Why are you asking him to own his decision? He told you. So Molly's crying, and she walks in and she finally sits down with Lauren to have a conversation, and she's pouring her heart out. Ladies, y'all should have done this a long time ago. But instead, Molly, you chose to brag about your relationship even after you knew it was Lauren. Do I feel like Lauren should have also told Molly when she told her in the beginning that she was seeing David? Yes. And I also feel like they should have held him more accountable. But instead, you let him, Lauren, fill your head up with all of those things that you want to hear. Up next we see Daniel and Taylor, my favorite couple. They're together, they share gifts with each other, and they're just talking about how things have just aligned for them and that there has been so many coincidences. They talk about body image, and Taylor talks about how pressured she has felt to look a certain type of way, and that is a valid insecurity that a lot of us women go through because social media often presents to us how we should look, and for so many women that can be very difficult trying to live up to the expectations of society. So that was a really nice conversation, and I really like how Daniel just validated her in that moment. So they get to talking about social media, and Taylor shares her Instagram handle. I don't know, but for me it kind of seemed like Daniel got a little bit nervous when they were talking about Instagram, and even the way he was answering the questions, it was like he was trying really hard not to say the wrong thing. And it had me thinking, oh my god, is it Daniel? Was Daniel the guy they were talking about in the trailer that knew what the woman looks like? Okay, I don't want to assume the worst, so I'm just going to leave that there. Then we see Ben and Sarah. They see each other for the first time and they seem genuinely smitten by each other. That's that. And then we see David and Lauren. They get engaged. That's all I have. Next up, we see Madison sitting with Mason, and she pretty much breaks up with him. She's like, oh, by the way, I thought you heard about it, but yeah, I was liking somebody else more than you. And the way Mason just looked so disappointed. Madison, so you break up with Mason, and then you try to mess up what he has with Meg. What we come to find out is that Madison has been talking to Meg and probably telling her little things about what's been going on with her and Mason. Honey, that wasn't your decision to make, okay? And as much as I feel like the connection with Meg and Mason wasn't real, that wasn't your place. You were the one who was leading Mason on all along by telling him all of those things. You were telling him that you're into him and you like him, you were flirting and talking about sex and all of that. And now you try to mess up the possibility that he and Meg could have probably figured out where they go with their relationship. That was not your place. Then we move on to episode 6, and it's called Do I Know You? And so in episode 6, we see Mason and Meg together after his date with Madison. He tells Meg that she has always been his number one and it's always been her. And she's like, but I wasn't your number one yesterday though. Yes, Meg, tell him. Meg is just telling him straight up, listen, I've been telling you all this time how much I like you. I've been telling you I miss you. I have a crush on you. And you gave me nothing. But today, I'm your number one. All of a sudden, I'm your girl. Is it because Madison broke up with you? Let me tell you, I was so happy that Meg finally stood up for herself and she's like, nah, Mason, I'm good. Thank you. Next. So, that relationship is over for Meg and Mason. But to be honest, I'm more upset about all of the nice food that I'm seeing on the show and I'm not seeing anybody eating it. What's going on? Then we see my favorites again, Taylor and Daniel. And they're both reading letters to each other. And these two are just too cute. They get engaged and I really, really love that for them. Next up, we see Lauren and David. They meet up for the first time. And guys, to be honest, there's nothing to talk about here. Next, we also see Devin, who reads out a heartfelt letter to Virginia. And he asked her to marry him. She said yes. Next up, we see Alex and Madison on a date. That scene pissed me off so much. So the date starts off with them sharing gifts with each other. And then afterwards, Alex brings up his concern about her being an avoidant. And she keeps telling this man, well, I'm here, right? Aren't I? You need to trust me. Yes, Madison, you're here now, but what's going to happen when real life things start to happen? You've told this man that you run away. You're a runner, you're a track star. That's what you told this man. So he has all the right to bring it up and to tell you that this is concerning to him. Anyway, Alex brings up how much Mason was hurt and he questions her a little bit, trying to find out what happened. And she says, well, you know what hurt me the most? Yesterday he told me that he was committed to me, and because I broke up with him, he's like, well, I take it back. And the only reason why he said he takes it back is for him to save face with Meg. So Madison, what did you expect this man to say? What did you expect him to do? You wanted him to beg you? Oh, okay. And you're mad that he didn't beg you, right? So Alex was like, well, did you lead him on in any way? And she's like, no. The lies. You led that man on. And now you're upset because Alex is saying that he understands both sides. Alex, you need to run. Leave Madison alone. So Madison is pissed off and she's tapping her fingers on the glass so much that Alex keeps mentioning it and she shuts down. So you're telling this man to trust you, but you're proving to him that you are not ready to be in a committed relationship. So you pretty much help this man to make his decision, and Alex tells her, listen, this is too much for me and I don't think we should get engaged. When I tell you I was so proud of Alex, I am so proud of you for going with your gut. You definitely dodged the bullet. You did the right thing. Next up, Devin and Virginia, they meet each other for the first time, and Virginia is looking like a real life princess. She looks so beautiful. Woo, Virginia, she's gorgeous. But I'm not too sure if the attraction is there for her. I don't know. Maybe I am reading her reactions wrong. And I guess the moment can be a little bit nerve-wracking with all of these cameras in your face and all of that. So I might be wrong. Next up, we see Taylor and Danielle. They meet up for the first time. But why? Why did Taylor say, should we shake hands? And y'all, they shook hands. Y'all better not piss me off with y'all shaking hands. Immediately, I can already tell that Taylor is the boss. She will be running that relationship. But I love seeing these two together. They showed the most affection to each other from all the other couples, and I really love the interaction. Is this our golden couple of the season? But maybe I talked too fast, because 24 hours later we see Taylor and she's saying that when the doors open and she saw him for the first time, him as in Daniel, she felt like he looked familiar, and she believes that Daniel may have known her all along because of specific things that she had on her social media. So I guess this is why they highlighted them talking so much about social media. They were pretty much preparing us for this moment and just kind of alluding that this may have been the couple that they were talking about. But I don't want to think the worst. I don't want to think it was talking about them. So she tells him that she recalls him following her on social media, on Instagram, and he unfollowed her. And he was like, me? No, not me. It wasn't me. If I followed you on social media, I probably would have remembered. And so she brings up a picture that is stuck in her head of him sitting in front of a Christmas tree with a glass in his hand. And he says, well, I don't have any pictures like that on my social media. I do have a picture with me sitting in front of a fireplace, but I don't have a drink in my hand. And I don't know, Daniel, it's sounding kind of suspicious to me. And this is where the episode ended. And guys, that's all I have for you. They give us a little trailer, but I'm not even going to get into it. And this is the end of my recap for episodes 5 and 6. New episodes will be dropping on the 21st of February, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the rest of the season brings. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.